Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Katy Nichole.
And you're watching Bandkind.
I was like, you are watching Bandkind.
I love it. Hey, I'm Nick, and I'm here with Katy Nichole. Bandkind, we had this great run-in. Both of us were tiptoeing toward each other backstage, and
tiptoeing because it's behind the stage and I don't want to be too loud. Katy Nichole.
And so now we're here to share some time with you. Hi, I'm Nick with Bandkind. Katy Nichole, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
She's just off the stage and performed. Oh, the audience was soaking it in. Did you see it?
It was one of those nights where I felt like people were coming alive, which was awesome.
Yes.
It was really awesome.
Sold out show, by the way. People really taking in what you had to say in not only your songs, but your testimony is miraculous.
Who would have known? No one. He's just so much like greater than our comprehension, you know? Like
Yes.
we couldn't really sum up all of his goodness because it's like there's just so much of it, you know?
Yeah, there's this song that I love right now by Citizens that says, we can't find the edges of you. And then it says, we'll spend eternity not finding the edges of you. And it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It like took me in when I was on the air this week that, you know, like in this life we always think, you know, when heaven we'll know. In heaven we'll know. But what if we don't still know the edges of our God by then?
I consider humans as being like a speck in what the universe truly is, you know? Because our God is so much greater than our comprehension. We are not big enough to know any of these secrets, any of these mysteries.
Yeah.
Only our God is big enough to know these things.
Yeah.
He did not create us with the intention of us knowing everything.
Right.
I do also believe that our God is not confusion at all.
Yeah, exactly.
He brings clarity, but he also brings clarity to as much as we need it. Because he knows what we need.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He knows what our hearts need in the moments that our hearts need it.
Wow.
So
Tell me what your family thinks about where you were in that hospital room to where you are on the stage today. You've taken the stage with such humility because of that time. What do they say about Katy Nichole, the recording artist?
my family still sees me the same way they saw me before any of this all happened. Because I'm the same person as I was before. I had a number one, an award. None of those things add up to the goodness of God and what God can do through music and the way that God moves. And it's like God is moving in my life in ways that I could have never imagined and no one else could have ever imagined.
Yes.
And so it's like, well, I'm the same Katy I was before all of this began. And I will be the same Katy in 5 years from now.
Amen.
Because my heart hasn't changed. Because these things don't mean as much as what God means to me, you know? Like, it truly, at the end of the day, I love the Lord so much that I really would only want to put myself into what he wants for my life. And so I'm going to keep following him, and that's why I'm going to stay the same. So.
I love that. We recently talked with Mike Weaver of Big Daddy Weave about the collaboration that you guys did and how he was so impressed with who you were in the recording process, but who you are as a person. And I think that you and Mike Weaver make a good vocal duo, but I think personality-wise, you guys share a lot in common too, right?
He's a lovely human. Like, I've met a good amount of Christian artists, obviously, in the last year of my life, and he's one of the most genuine and filled with the Lord's presence people that I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
Like, it's not to say that other Christian artists I've met haven't had that same, like, thing, but there is just something about the kindness of Mike Weaver that just could not be fabricated.
Right.
Like, he is who he is, and it is so beautiful, and it is so God-given.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gift of his. It's just his kindness and the way
Yeah.
that he treats every person so consistently, too. Like, he just walks into the room, and he's just a bright light. He's shining for the world to see, and, like, sometimes I don't even know if he, like, knows how much he's, like, shining in a room
I don't think
with
he
the
does.
Lord's presence. So I'm
That's
grateful
beautiful.
that we got to work together, and he really did do the song so much justice. Like, he has an incredible voice.
Yes.
And his story, it impacted my life.
Mm.
And
Which part of his story? Him losing his brother?
definitely him losing his brother. When I was out on tour with them, he has a video that he plays.
Yes. Oh.
So you've definitely seen this video, and it definitely hits you.
Yeah.
It hits you in a way that you're like, oh, I feel like even though I never knew him,
Yeah.
it's almost as if I'm interacting with him in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that was spiritual, and I could not describe it to you. It's amazing how much his brother was filled with the Lord as well.
Yes.
Like, they clearly were raised in a God-filled home, you know, and he really does truly talk about his family in that way of just like the Lord's presence over his family.
Yes.
And so I can say that part of his story, while it broke me, it also made me feel like he had the story to go out and share that God is in your story, even through sorrow and brokenness. And I have seen him carry it in a way that I wouldn't have chosen anyone else to do.
No.
You know, I couldn't have.
It caught me seriously off guard, and maybe you've seen the Mike Weaver interview when I walked into the venue and saw the poster without J-Dog. And I had an emotional experience that I was not prepared for. And Mike Weaver and I both sat right there and just cried. You know, and my experience and my connection completely different than his experience and his connection.
Absolutely.
But the grief, you know, it was really powerful. And so ultimately what I'm saying is their voices together, Mike Weaver and Katy Nichole, you're coming from two different places of authority in order to sing those lyrics with truth.
Yeah.
So some of these lyrics, like you just said on stage, are just coming out of your journal. You didn't know that you were writing this song that has healed so many people. And I think I love that most.
I mean, I feel like the songs where I just write from a place of like, this is my life, this is real. I'm a broken person, and I would never say otherwise, and obviously I do talk about that on stage, but the truth of that is I could not sing the songs I sing if I wasn't a broken person. Because the thing is that the person I'm singing that to is broken too. And they need the words that I needed at one point in my life. Like I couldn't really come up with that on my own. It's more of just like, okay, God, you're speaking something through me that I just could not create myself.
Wow.
I'm powerless, completely powerless, and I know that. And and I recognize that in a way that I'm like, okay, well, if I'm powerless, then I have to fully rely on you, God.
Yeah.
And so I go out on stage and I don't really think, how can I move the audience? I think, Lord, please move and impact these hearts tonight. Please. It's almost a place of desperation for me. Again, like knowing that I have no power to do anything. And if I try to rely on my own strength, I walk away from it empty.
Wow.
So it's like, I need to rely on the strength that Jesus has given.
Wow.
So.
Unbelievable. Well, it was amazing to watch the crowd react to your music because clearly they were passionate about the songs that Katy Nichole brought, but they were feeling it. And so the applause was like an internal maybe commitment that they were making to their future, and it wasn't just a performance that they were applauding for.
It never is. You know, that's so funny that you even like have that like interpretation of it, because I don't necessarily see what's happening. Like kind of like where you're probably standing, you're seeing something. You have a different point of view.
Exactly.
And I walk away from it just being moved by what God does through me through the night. Because I'm trying to come to a place of worship just as much as I'm trying to lead people to that place.
Amen.
So it's like, if I don't do that, I did not accomplish anything. So.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We've been here with Katy Nichole, sold out crowd that is going to go home with lots to contemplate, and we know exactly what they're looking for, and that is a fullness and wholeness that only comes from Jesus Christ. Katy, thank you so much
of course.
for hanging out with us, and I appreciate it. And a great job on stage. Oh my gosh. Listening to God and speaking, you know, with authority, because you've been through something that gives you that authority to speak.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Don't worry. You're watching Bandkind.
I love it.
Did we do it?
Everything. We did it.
We did
We
it.
did it.